Wow, welcome back. I have to tell you, I am surprised, even shocked, because over the last, I guess, 4 or 5 years, I have put out there, in whole or in part, so many short stories, including ones of ghosts, ones in which I was actually accused of murder when I was living in Grand Rapids, a city which I still love almost as much as any in the world. Um, and such a great time I had there, and yet accused of murder, and that got some response, but nothing has quite had people calling me or privately messaging me the way this story of my meeting of Azalea Pearlstone has. And some of it has been because it's a name that people know who grew up where I grew up. But the fact is, most of these people who are calling me or emailing me or messaging me are people who don't know anything about my hometown, much less Azalea herself. And they all want to know the same thing. Robert, is this story true? And here's the thing: in the last part that I put out was about meeting Beauregard. And you'll recall that I was talking about how I'd first gotten my keys from Azalea Pearlstone, and she'd given those to me, and then she had left, and I was upstairs thinking, oh my God, how in the world do I, for almost no rent, literally almost nothing, live in this incredibly gorgeous house in this ridiculously beautiful neighborhood, and I meet Beauregard, who tells me to call him Beau, and sometimes I do call him Beau, and sometimes I call him Beauregard, as I would for the next 20 years. Sometimes call him Beau, and sometimes call him Beauregard. And he referred to her as sometimes as the barbarian. I said, Beau, why did you call Mrs. Azalea Pearlstone the barbarian? And Beau has a little bit of a different take on women. And she was a woman who had rules, and they weren't always obvious what they would be. But when she told you what they were to be followed, and you would follow them. And so I guess, and it was Beauregard, interestingly, and in fact, I will tell you, ironically, looking back on it now, who was in charge of teaching me the rules of the house, including the fact that when she had people over, Beauregard and I, or Beau and I, were in charge of essentially being the waiters of the house. We were the butlers of the house. We took care of her guests when they came. And that was why we could live in a house that would have probably, instead of costing us thousands of dollars a month, cost us barely $200 a month to live. But it's such a great story. But I will tell you, I am so thankful to all of you who have enjoyed it. I'm working on a website now just for this story, so that instead of having to go back through and try to read old social media posts that I've made, you can actually go through and read the story of how I came to live at the home of Azalea Pearlstone, and how my friend Beauregard came to live at the home of Azalea Pearlstone, and the strange things that happened. The fact that one of my favorite stories, and something that's getting a lot of comment, was that I came downstairs on a Saturday to go to what on the Gulf Coast where I'm from called a fisherman's mass. Sometimes a lot of Catholics will know that as a vigil mass, but my friend Beauregard, or the man who become my friend, said, "Can I go with you?" And I said, "Well, certainly. Are you Catholic?" And he said, "Oh God, no, I'm Christian." When someone says something to you, you're either going to become friends or enemies, and we became fast friends. And we would go to many people's churches and enjoy. We would enjoy many a sermon and particularly many a choir and many a hymn. So anyway, I just want to say to everyone who's watching what I've been doing, thank you. You have flattered me beyond what I deserve, but just keep watching. In the next couple of weeks, and by the next couple of weeks, I mean the next couple of weeks to 2 months, I'll have a specific web page just for these stories of Azalea Pearlstone for you to read free of charge. Every joke I've ever told has been told by someone funnier than I. Every story I have told, you can read someone who did it much better than I did. And since I have been conned out of so much of my money to read these old stories retold with different names. I damn sure would not require you to do it. But I will post a link to that website when it becomes available. And in the meantime, I can only tell you, yes, these stories are more or less true. They're more true than not true. And anytime we've changed the names or the dates, it has only been to protect the guilty. Because whatever they say about me, I'm not a snitch. Anyway, thank you so much. And as I said to you last time, as I'll say to you every time, thank you, and know that I love you and that I'm so proud of you. Thank you so much.